Do you know exactly what you should put in the shopping cart when you prepare the BARF diet for your dog? Many owners believe that it is enough to choose any raw meat and some bones, but the truth is that there are essential foods, and others that need to be avoided forever. From the first contact with the BARF diet, many dog and cat owners realize a central question. After all, what should really go in the shopping cart? The base of the BARF shopping list begins with what represents 70 to 80% of the meal, animal proteins. It is precisely in this part that many go wrong, either by choosing inappropriate cuts or by relying on ultra-processed products that do not belong to the raw philosophy. The first principle that should guide any tutor is simple. The fresher, the better. Fresh meats, purchased from trusted butchers or specialized suppliers, are the basis that will provide nutritional and digestive security. Among the most recommended options are chicken, turkey, beef, lean pork, and also saltwater fish. Each of these choices plays a different role in the animal's health. Chicken, for example, is a lean meat, easily digestible and affordable. In BARF, it can be used in different ways. Breast, thighs, drumsticks, always raw and properly sanitized. Turkey follows the same logic, offering variation in the menu and essential amino acids for the muscles. Beef brings higher caloric density, in addition to zinc and iron at high levels, essential for active dogs or cats with high energy demand. Pork, on the other hand, often misunderstood, can indeed be part of the diet, as long as it is purchased from suppliers who guarantee sanitary inspection against diseases such as cystic urcosis. In the case of fish, extra attention is needed. Not all fish are suitable for dogs and cats, mainly because some, such as carp and tilapia, have levels of thiaminase, an enzyme that destroys vitamin B1. Therefore, the ideal is to prioritize saltwater fish, such as sardines, mackerel, and salmon. They provide not only protein, but also omega-3 fatty acids, which are known to reduce inflammation, strengthen the coat, and improve cardiovascular health. What should be avoided whenever possible? First, ultra-processed meats. Sausages, such as sausages, hams, bologna, or any product with excess salt, nitrates, and preservatives are silent poisons for dogs and cats. They can cause everything from kidney problems to serious liver complications. Another point to avoid is old meats or meats stored for long periods without proper freezing. The risk of bacterial contamination is very high, and the animal's digestive system, although more prepared than humans to deal with bacteria, may not be able to withstand high levels of salmonella or E. coli. Another common mistake is to believe that cuts that are too fatty will eat better. Excess fat can lead to pancreatitis, a painful and dangerous inflammation. Therefore, the recommendation is to look for balanced cuts, meat with a natural percentage of fat, but without exaggeration. And then there's the issue of variety. Putting together a definitive BARF shopping list means not relying solely on one protein. Offering the dog or cat the same type of meat over time can lead to nutritional deficiencies over time. The alternation between chicken, beef, fish, and pork is not a luxury, but a biological necessity. It is from this turnover that the different amino acids, vitamins, and minerals capable of sustaining full health will come. Basically, the choice of proteins defines not only the nutritional value of the diet, but also the long-term quality of life. When chosen well, these fresh meats provide clean energy, strong muscles, natural resistance against disease, and a healthy, shiny coat. When poorly chosen, they become triggers for chronic diseases, loss of vitality, and even risk of death. Therefore, any tutor who wants to start or maintain BARF must understand the first part of the shopping list is not just what's in the fridge. It is a strategic map that defines whether the animal will have energy, immunity, and longevity. And this map starts with the meat. If meats form the backbone of the BARF menu, bones and viscera represent the most delicate part, the one in which the tutor needs maximum attention so as not to make mistakes. It is precisely at this point that many abandon the diet or get confused because they do not understand the difference between offering raw, fresh, and safe food and falling into dangerous practices that can seriously harm the animal's health. Fleshy raw bones are the great source of calcium and phosphorus in the diet, in addition to representing a natural stimulus for chewing. When a dog or cat gnaws on raw bones, it not only strengthens the teeth and jaw, but also mechanically cleans up tartar and reduces the risk of periodontal disease. It's like a natural toothbrush, but it still offers irreplaceable nutrients. But here's the crux of the matter. Cooked bones should never be offered. When cooked, they become brittle and turn into sharp blades that can puncture the stomach or intestine. BARF is built on the offer of raw bones and always appropriate to the size of the animal. For small dogs, options such as chicken neck or wings are safe, as they have an adequate ratio between bone and meat, making chewing and digestion easier. For medium and large dogs, thighs, drumsticks, meaty ribs, and even pieces of bone and chest are good choices. In cats, chicken necks and wings are the champions, precisely because of their practicality. In addition to the bones, the viscera come into play. They are the most nutritious part of the BARF diet, but also the most misunderstood. Many owners are repulsed or underestimate the importance of these cuts when, in fact, they are true vitamin and mineral bombs. The liver, for example, is very rich in vitamin A, iron, and folic acid. The heart has a high concentration of taurine, essential for cats, which cannot synthesize this amino acid on their own. The kidneys are loaded with vitamin B12 and riboflavin, while the spleen provides iron at very high levels. The secret, however, lies in balance. The viscera should make up around 10 to 15% of the total meal. More than that can cause hypervitaminosis, especially due to excess vitamin A coming from the liver. Less than that leaves nutritional gaps that are difficult to fill with meat and bones alone. And when it comes to fat, the line is thin between medicine and poison. Animal fat is the main source of energy in BARF. It helps in the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins such as A, D, E, and K, contributes to the shine of the fur and to the health of the skin. But when overoffered, it turns into a real risk of obesity and pancreatitis. Therefore, balanced cuts are always preferable to extremely fatty ones. There's also a detail that few mention: the origin of bones and viscera. It is not enough to buy any discarded piece at the butcher shop. The ideal is to choose suppliers that guarantee origin, hygiene, and freshness. Old, dark, strong-smelling bones or dried, dubiously stored viscera can carry dangerous toxins and bacteria. When putting together the ultimate BARF shopping list, attention to these details is what differentiates a caring tutor from a careless tutor. Another point of warning is the temptation to replace raw bones with industrialized mineral flours. Many believe that they are simplifying the process, but in fact, they are depriving the animal of an essential physiological and psychological experience. Gnawing on bones is part of the biology of dogs and cats, activates muscles, expends energy, and satisfies ancestral instincts. No powder or tablet replaces this natural process. In practice, the tutor needs to remember BARF is not just a diet, it is a simulation of hunting. The bone carries calcium, the viscera brings vitamins, and together they form what, in nature, would keep the animal alive. Therefore, when going shopping, the list must always include assorted fleshy raw bones, necks, wings, thighs, ribs, and fresh viscera, liver, heart, kidneys, and spleen. Avoid cooked bones, very large and hard bones such as bovine femur, which can break teeth, old viscera or those of dubious origin, as well as any excess fat. When the choice is correct, the tutor not only nourishes but strengthens teeth, cleans gums, balances vitamins and minerals, and, above all, gives the animal the chance to live in a more natural and healthy way. Thus, the definitive list of BARF follows its logic. First, the assorted fresh meats, then fleshy raw bones and nutritious offal. Everything fresh, everything thought out, everything balanced. The next step? Understand that vegetables, fruits, and supplements are also part of this strategic health map. When talking about BARF, many owners think only of meat, bones, and offal, but the truth is that the diet cannot be sustained without the participation of vegetables, fruits, and some supplements that fill the nutritional gaps. Ignoring them is transforming the menu into something incomplete, capable of generating silent deficiencies over time. The definitive shopping list needs to include this category clearly, because it represents not only complement, but balance. Vegetables enter BARF with a very specific function: to offer fiber, antioxidants, and phytonutrients that are not present in adequate quantities in meats. They should always be offered raw, processed, or lightly crushed, because the digestive system of dogs and cats is not efficient at breaking down cellulose. By grinding or processing, the tutor simulates the pre-digestion that would occur in the stomach of a herbivorous prey. Among the recommended vegetables are carrots, zucchini, pumpkin, broccoli, and spinach. Carrots provide beta-carotene, which converts into vitamin A, as well as fiber that helps with intestinal transit. Pumpkin is an excellent digestive regulator, acting in cases of both constipation and diarrhea. Zucchini adds variety and lightness, while broccoli and spinach offer calcium, iron, and antioxidants. What to avoid? Vegetables from the nightshade family, such as raw potatoes, green tomatoes, and eggplant. They contain solanine, a substance toxic to dogs and cats. Garlic and onions in any form are also prohibited. Even small amounts can cause hemolytic anemia. Fruits, on the other hand, represent not only flavor, but valuable nutrients. Apple, seedless, pear, mango, melon, and watermelon are safe and rich in vitamins. Bananas, in small amounts, are a good source of potassium. Blueberries are considered superfoods, with antioxidants that strengthen the immune system and slow down cellular aging. On the other hand, there are fruits that should be excluded: grapes, raisins, star fruit, and avocado. All of them carry serious risks, from kidney failure to fatal poisoning. When preparing the list, the owner should clearly mark not only what to buy, but also what should never come into contact with the animal's bowl. And we come to supplements, where many believe that BARF does not need any help. The reality is that some nutrients are hardly achieved only with meat, bones, and vegetables. Fish oil is one of the most important, rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which balance the diet and reduce inflammatory processes. It must be of quality, free of heavy metals, and suitable for use in animals. Another relevant supplement is the egg, a complete food, rich in proteins, good fats, vitamins, and minerals. The yolk contains choline, which is essential for brain health. Offered raw or cooked, the egg should be part of the weekly list. Kefir or unsweetened natural yogurt are allies in intestinal health, providing natural probiotics. In some cases, powdered seaweed can be used as a source of iodine, which is essential for thyroid function. However, the use should be careful, always in small quantities, and preferably with veterinary guidance. When putting together the ultimate shopping list, this part is crucial. Fresh vegetables, safe fruits, eggs, natural probiotics, and quality fish oil. All this added to the meats, bones, and offal creates a complete menu, capable of sustaining vitality, energy, and longevity. The key is in the proportion. Vegetables and fruits should not exceed 15 to 20% of the total diet. Excess can cause digestive disorders, while lack generates nutritional deficiencies. Balance, once again, is what transforms BARF into a healthy and natural solution. When the tutor understands this, the shopping cart becomes much more than a simple list of items. It becomes a health map, where each choice directly impacts the animal's immunity, longevity, and well-being. And that's where we come to the last part of this journey. The most common mistakes, the hidden pitfalls in the market, and how to put together the final list in a practical and definitive way. After going through meats, bones, offal, vegetables, fruits, and supplements, there remains the most critical part of BARF's definitive list, identifying the most common mistakes and escaping market traps. It is not enough to know what to buy. It is also necessary to recognize what to avoid forever. It is in this last step that many tutors fail, and it is precisely here that a clear list makes all the difference. One of the most recurrent mistakes is to believe that any product with the natural or premium label serves to compose the BARF. In reality, many of these items are just ultra-processed in disguise, filled with preservatives, dyes, and thickeners. Products such as supposedly natural feeds, industrialized pâtés, and colorful cookies easily enter the shopping cart of those who are not attentive, but they should never enter the raw diet. Another trap is overbuying without planning. The tutor fills the freezer with meat, bones, and offal, but does not organize the rotation or calculate the proportions. The result? Unbalanced diet, waste, and risk of offering repeated cuts that lead to nutritional deficiencies. BARF is not improvisation. It requires calculation, planning, and discipline. It is also common to fall into the temptation of the wrong bones. The bovine femur, for example, seems like a great option because it is large and long-lasting, but in practice, it can break teeth and cause serious trauma. The same goes for cooked or smoked bones sold in pet stores. They were not made for BARF and pose real danger. Another frequent mistake is overestimating supplements. Some tutors, concerned with giving the best, end up exaggerating fish oil, algae, or even human vitamin complexes. This excess does not bring any benefit. On the contrary, it can cause serious imbalances. BARF is built to work naturally, and supplements should only come in when there is a real need in the right dose. The definitive list should also mark well what never to buy. Sausages, sausage, ham, salami, butcher leftovers of dubious origin, meats with spices, forbidden vegetables, raw potatoes, green tomatoes, eggplant, toxic fruits, grapes, raisins, starfruit, avocado, sweets, chocolates, and any food with excess sugar or salt. These are the silent poisons that need to be permanently scratched. On the other side, what should always be in the cart? Assorted fresh meats, chicken, beef, pork, saltwater fish, fleshy raw bones, necks, wings, ribs, and thighs, fresh viscera, liver, heart, kidneys, and spleen, safe vegetables, carrots, squash, zucchini, broccoli, spinach, safe fruits, seedless apple, pear, banana, in small amounts, melon, watermelon, blueberry, natural supplements, eggs, unsweetened kefir or natural yogurt, quality fish oil. This is the core that makes up BARF's definitive shopping list, a guide that transforms going to the market or butcher shop into a conscious, strategic, and above all, responsible act. More than a simple diet, BARF is a pact of health and longevity. When the owner chooses with criteria, he not only feeds, but guarantees energy, vitality, and a longer and more balanced life for his dog or cat. The shopping cart is no longer just a set of products and becomes a promise. The promise to offer the animal what it needs, and not what the industry wants to sell. So, at the end of the list, there is only one simple but powerful rule. Buy what nourishes, avoid what intoxicates. This is the line that separates a conscious owner from a distracted owner, and it is also the line that determines whether your pet will live in full health or surrounded by problems that could have been avoided.